Hey, what's up guys? It's Cliff with Trail Grid Pro. Super excited to be here with you today. We have the brand new Sony 4000 in the shop, was just delivered, and today we're showcasing the Sony 4000 bundle for 4Runners. And we're gonna show you an install of that today as well. So why have guys and gals been chomping at the bit for this new Sony 4000? Well, it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And in front of me today, I have an example of the 4Runner bundle for 2010 and up Toyota 4Runners that you could expect if you ordered one and it showed up at your door. So what we have in front of us here is the Sony 4000, which is already loaded in the Toyota 4Runner dash kit. And if I turn this all the way around, this is the plug and playness of the Sony 4000. Now, the Sony 4000 is also debuting, it's our first bundle that is Maestro compatible. So what does that mean? That means that you're gonna get your vehicle information, it's gonna be seamless plug and play for steering wheel controls, the whole 9 yards. So when you order the Sony 4000 bundle for your 2010 to 2022 Toyota 4Runner, what you can expect when it arrives at your door is all the wiring, soldering, Tessa taping, anything that you would need to do in order to get this ready to drop in your 4Runner is already done for you. The Maestro module is going to be nicely secured to the back of the chassis, and all the wiring will be ready to go. One question that we get a lot is, will the module be pre-flashed for your vehicle? And the answer is yes. It'll literally be flashed for your specific vehicle. There's nothing that you'll have to do to the Maestro module before you drop it in your Toyota 4Runner. One of the other cool features of the Sony 4000 is it packs a 14-band EQ, so you can really dial into the sound that you're looking for in your Toyota 4Runner. So this is actually our first video example of the new Metro dash kit. Our previous 4Runner bundle came with the dash kit attached to the body of the bundle, and now they are separate. The reason they're separate is because this new dash kit utilizes your factory 10mm bolts, which the old bundles that we had didn't. So the result of that is a much more secure bundle, as it's secured with the 4 10mm bolts from your factory setup. So essentially all you're gonna be doing differently, which we're gonna show you today in the install, is you're gonna install the body of the bundle first, everything right here, make all your connections, then secure the body with your 4 10mm bolts. And after you've secured the body of your 4000 to your Toyota 4Runner, then is the time to transfer all the vents and trim pieces from your factory head unit to this new dash kit. And then once you transfer everything, vents, trim pieces, you can then put it right into place in your Toyota 4Runner. And we're gonna show you all of that today in this installation of the Sony 4000. All right guys, so now we're gonna show you 2 portions of video that's required in order to get ready to install the Sony 4000. First, we're gonna show you the complete disassembly of your factory head unit. And then we're gonna show you a portion of video about transferring the vents and trim pieces from your factory head unit to the new dash cover for your Toyota 4Runner. Do not be alarmed if you see a silver dash kit and we're putting in a black dash kit. We're using footage from one of our previous installs so that we can show you exactly how to do it. All right, so let's get started with disassembly. First thing to do is we got to remove these side panels down here. All right, so there's one, and here's the second one. Again, they're pulling straight out. That's taken care of. The next thing to do is to pull out the HVAC column here, and there is a plug, one plug here in the back, which we will unplug, and then it helps to have a small flathead screwdriver or a panel tool to unclip. There's a little connector here that keeps everything in place for that HVAC connection, and we can just press the tabs and pop it right out just like that. So we'll put that aside. All right, next step is underneath the head unit, there are 4 10mm bolts right underneath, and we just need to remove those. You can use an impact gun or you can use just a manual 10mm socket. Just a quick pro tip, put these 10mm bolts in your cup holder while you're doing the install. That way you won't lose them. Okay, now that we have the 10mm bolts out, this head unit is actually just gonna pull straight out. So I recommend starting with one side just to dislodge it slightly, then move to the other side, do the same thing. And so now you can see it's slightly dislodged, and then grab in the middle and just pull straight out. And the entire head unit is going to come out of place. Now we've just placed a microfiber towel on top of our shift knob. So highly recommend that because there could be a little bit of a weight from the factory head unit that's placed on there as you do the next step, which is we need to unplug all of the plugs back here one at a time. So let's start with that. And some of them are a little more tricky than others, so recommendation, use a small flathead screwdriver to compress the tab and pull straight out. All right, so last, there is a little bracket here that's held on by a connector here in the back, and there's also a piece of tape here. You can take out the connector, or you can just simply cut this tape right here, which is what we're gonna do. Okay, we are totally removed now.
First thing we're gonna do is put the head unit face down. You're gonna see that there are two small Phillips head screws here that we need to remove. We're gonna set these to the side very carefully because we do need these for reinstall. You can see these are very tiny little screws. Then this top trim piece will come off. We'll set that to the side. Next thing we're gonna do, now that we can get to it, you can see the cable here for the hazard button. We're gonna go ahead and remove it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go to the side here. We're gonna use a pop clip remover. Remove this here. Go ahead and slide this out of the way. And then the retainer part of this clip is actually on the inside. So if you work your screwdriver behind, there's the cable that we need. We're gonna set that in our keep pile. Next thing we need are the AC ducts. So you have clips on almost all sides. You can see the big one here. There's some smaller ones down here that we're gonna need to get to with our screwdriver. Best way of doing this is just kind of start in one corner and slowly, as you're sliding the clip out of the way, just pulling constant but light pressure on the duct itself. As you can see, it's starting to come out. We just got holding on one more place. There we go. All right, so our duct is all the way out. Now we can get a better look. I'll show you the clips real quick. You have one here in the back corner, one here, one in basically each corner, and then you have one in the front and two in the back. So don't necessarily need to unlock all of them, but as you see, if you pull constant pressure, it'll usually just come right out. So we're gonna do the same thing here on this side. Starting to go. There we go. All right, set that in our keep pile. And if you do forget which side, you can see it says LH and RH, so left hand, right hand respectively. And that's as you're sitting in the driver's seat looking at the head unit itself. All right, while we have this, we're gonna go ahead and push the hazard button out. As you can see, that just popped right in. So you just push it right out from the back. We're gonna set that in our keep pile. And then the last bits that we need are gonna be these little trim bezels here that go around the air control knobs, and as you can see, again, little tiny Phillips head screws on each side. And then you can see that piece comes right off. And if you have one of these little magnet tools, sometimes those are a big help with retrieving these little screws. Go ahead and take the other side off. All right, there's our other trim. So now our head unit is completely disassembled of all the parts that we need. So we're going to move this one out of the way. Okay, so now on the bench we have our new Sony 8100 bundle. So all the pieces that we just took off of the old head unit are going to go back on. So essentially you're just going to put them back on in reverse order of how you took them off. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with the little trim bezels. Let's see. Kind of pop in like that, and then we're going to lay the unit face down and reinstall the little tiny Phillips head screws. And we are dealing with plastic pieces here, so these really only need to be finger tight. Now we're going to move back to our air ducts here. So we can see RH goes on the right side. And this should just pop right into place. Give it the old wiggle test. Same thing left hand side. Here everything snap into place. It's definitely not going anywhere. All right, so when you get your package from us, you also see this little bag with a bunch of goodies in it, all parts and pieces. So if we open up our bag here, we'll see a new trim piece. And this is the new surround for the emergency hazard button. So when we take this out of the package, you can see that that's where the hazard button should go. Line this up, and that just snaps right in. At this point, we can also take our emergency hazard button, push it in from the front. You heard it snap, and it works as it should. So there's a quick look. We got all the trim pieces back together. A little bit more tidying up to do on the back. We take our cable for the emergency hazard button, go ahead and put it back in place and make the connection to the button. And then we can just route the rest of this around the side so that it's with all of our other connectors to connect that when we put it back in the truck. And then we have the top piece here. We're gonna go ahead and slide it back in. You can see we're just gonna line it up. All right, and then you can see on each side there is a locating pin. We'll go in the outer hole, and then the screw gets placed back in the inner hole. Go ahead and put this little Phillips head screw back in. Again, just finger tight. So those are all the pieces that we took off of our factory unit. We're going to go back to our goodie bag here of parts and pieces. You got a USB extension cable. We're going to use that in a little bit. Keep digging down here in the bag. You're going to find this other bag includes these white retaining clips and then a couple of extra screws. So if you do manage to drop some screws, not a big deal. We do provide some extra screws for you. So we're going to open this bag, and what we need out of here are these white clips, which are going to go, you see here, here. There's a post here in the back. So there's one on each corner. Take these, slide them on just like that. And we're just going to repeat the process on all four corners. We're all put back together. Got our vents in, got all of our trim bits in. Man, that looks solid.
All right, guys, so now we're ready for the installation of the Sony 4000 bundle in a Toyota 4Runner. Again, this is going to be applicable for 2010 to 2022 4Runners. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, we have the body of the bundle here, and we have the vehicle connectors here that we're going to use. And there's only 3 actual vehicle connectors, all right? So we're really just finding, in most cases, finding our mate, except for one, which I will explain. All right, so we got our partner there, and then we're gonna go black to black here. And now we've got our third one, which is super important. This is our power here. And there's actually, in a 2020 Plus, there are 2 cables which fit this. And the one that we're looking for on the Toyota side is the one that has a brown and a light blue wire on either side. That's going to be the right one to give us power. So let's go ahead and orient that and plug it in. All right, so now we've got those. Here we have the vehicle antenna adapter. So our antenna is this plug right here. So let's go ahead and plug that in. And our GPS connection, there's 2 plugs that actually look pretty similar, other than color. They're these 2 right here. One is white, one is black. And the one for GPS is white. So we're going to plug this in right here. Now, in this installation, we're not retaining Sirius XM, but if in your installation you're retaining Sirius XM, this is the Sirius XM plug on the Toyota side. So this is what you'd plug into the Sirius XM adapter in order to retain your Sirius XM. Now, I've already routed the microphone in this installation, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug it in here into the red port on the back of the radio, and up in the upper right hand corner of the video right now, I'm going to link to the video to where we show you exactly how to route your microphone all the way up into the factory microphone location. And we will be sending you the mic mount with your bundle so that you can choose to either put it up there or not. Other places, other popular places for the mic, you can put it here in the gauge cluster or frankly wherever you want it. But we'll go ahead and link above for the installation to put it in the factory microphone location. All right, so in this kit, we are also retaining your factory USB location. This is this gray connection here, which we just orient correctly. It will go together. Now, this is wireless CarPlay Android Auto, but we retain this lower USB connection for charging your phone. In the event you need to plug it in and charge your phone, that will still be powered. So we'll keep that capability there. Now, just a quick note before we put everything back into the dash. If you happen to see this video and see anything behind the dash that doesn't look like it's there in your 4Runner, don't be alarmed. We have a lot of accessories hooked up to this 4Runner. We've shown you exactly what you need to do in this video, and just concentrate on that and you'll be good to go. All right, so at this point, we're going to put the head unit into position. All right, so what I recommend before you button everything up is just put one of your 10mm bolts into position, maybe 2 of them, just to hold it in place. And we're gonna just go through a quick test. This is also a decent time to take off the protective layer. So we've got that open. I'm actually gonna put another one of these in here just to make sure it stays upright. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn on accessory power. All right, awesome. We are powered on. Perfect. Steering wheel controls are working. That's great. Everything looks to be in functioning order. So let's check our rear camera. Yep, I've got a I've got a rigged ultra swing there, so don't be alarmed. But the rear camera obviously works with this bundle. All right, so we are good to go. Let's go ahead and tidy this up. We'll get everything back into its place, and then we'll run through some of the features. All right, so let's get that last bolt, that last 10mm bolt in there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down. Very secure. So again, this is the cool part about the new dash kit that uses the 10mm bolts. It's super secure, which is fantastic. All right, one thing to mention before you put on the dash cover is you want to leave this is your hazard connector. You want to leave this exposed in this area so that when you put the dash cover on, you can easily plug that into the hazard connector. So let's go ahead and put our dash cover on. Now, I have an ICS dash mount on here, so don't be alarmed if yours doesn't look exactly like it. All right, so you basically just reach in there, plug in your hazard, so you're good there. Make sure everything's out of the way. And whoo, we're gonna snap that right into position. That looks pretty awesome. Next, we're gonna plug back in our heat and AC panel. Make that connection, just one connection. Plug that back in. Next, we have our side brackets, which we are just putting back into position. All right, good there. And the next one. All right, we are solid up there. And just a quick note, of course, we have the ICS dash mount up here. Works perfectly with our Sony bundles. A great way to sort of accessorize. I have a CB that I put up here, and then this is a great, awesome phone mount for your phone just to keep it at eye level in the event that you need it. All right, let's go ahead and fire this baby up, put it in accessory power, and let's check out the features. All right, look at that, fires right up. And just as a heads up, this is a sticker. It says Maestro compatible. You can totally remove that, you know, when you get your bundle. So don't worry about that there. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna turn off demo mode, because as you can see here, it's kind of going through the features there. So let's just go to settings and then system. And here's demo mode right here, which we're just gonna turn off. So you may notice here, this is a completely redesigned user interface. This is inspired by the Sony 9500 ES, and it looks awesome. So we've got a nice little analog clock up there, looks super slick, and we got the different functions down here: radio, Sirius XM, Bluetooth, rear camera, which we showed you, which works, settings, etc. All right, so without further ado, let's bring out the star of this show, which is wireless CarPlay in my instance. I'm an Apple user, but the same rings true for wireless Android Auto. So to make that happen, to pair your phone with your new Sony 4000, we're gonna go to settings and then device connection and add a new device. And as you see here, go to the Bluetooth device search on your smartphone. So let's open that up and we're gonna go to Bluetooth. And we're gonna see the Sony 4000 pop up here in a second. Lots of other things around here. There it is right there. So let's go ahead and press that. It's gonna say, hey, does that match that? And it does. So let's pair. We're gonna allow our contacts and favorites to sync. And let's click pair on the phone. And look at that. Use CarPlay, Apple CarPlay. Boom, we're connected there. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Everything that you would expect from a wired connection, now wireless, which is fantastic. And the cool thing is that if you're going on a long trip and you need to charge your phone, because that obviously happens sometimes, this USB down here still works for charging. So that's your charging source, which is super fantastic. We like to change the wallpaper to all black. Set. I feel like that just, especially with this charcoal, it just blends in super awesome and looks like, frankly, it's supposed to be there, which is awesome. So all the things you can expect from here, obviously your phone calls, music, maps, we got Apple Maps, Google Maps, and Waze, messages, and any app that is Apple CarPlay compatible or Android Auto compatible will show up on your screen. They're all right there. Everything at your fingertips. All right, so one of the coolest features of this being a Maestro compatible head unit is that we have access to vehicle information. So right here we have our tire pressure, which is awesome. We have battery voltage, our engine, everything's okay there, no codes, anything like that. And we also have access to our gauges. So we got RPMs, miles per hour, intake, fuel, and then also we can record 0 to 60, quarter mile, and obviously we have miles per hour over there. So lots of cool vehicle information that we didn't have access to with our previous Sony bundles that are now compatible and able with this Maestro compatible Sony 4000 head unit. All right guys, well that wraps this up. Another successful install here, the brand new Sony 4000 plug and play bundle for 2010 to 2022 Toyota 4Runners, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, Maestro compatible. So you've got vehicle information, gauges, all the cool stuff, which can be bought in the TrailGrid Pro store at www.trailgridpro.com. We'll ship it right to your door so that you can successfully install it in your 4Runner in your garage. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a blast out there.